everybody. So this is our first live, and my name is Sam.
My name is Zev. Hi.
And we're here from TX Caring for You, and we also own a Canadian nanny agency called Little Einsteins, or SK Babysitters. We're here to share with you our top 10 nanny tips. As summer is around the corner and school's closing, we have kids as well, so we understand that families might be looking for nannies at this time. And so we're going to share our top 10 nanny tips. And if you have any comments or suggestions, feedback, whatever, please feel free to write them down. We're also going to add a poll in here. I'm going to figure out how to do that. But once I'm ready for that, you guys can. Oh, I can launch it. Right. Perfect. You guys can also tell us when you start looking for a nanny. But we'll start right away. So our first nanny tip.
So the first nanny tip, guys, nice to meet you, by the way. Our first nanny tip is start looking today. May is a little too late. You want to start your search early so you can get a sense of the candidates. You're not rushing anybody. If they have existing commitments, you can transition them and make sure that you have somebody available when you need them. So starting early is ideal.
Our second one is create a thorough job description. So, we'll all put in hours, job responsibilities, all of that. But you need to add more. You need to tell the nanny what summer camps your kids might be involved in, what mileage or gas charges that she might be paid for, any bonuses, anything extra. What would your nanny be doing when the kids are at summer camp? So that's my second tip.
So the third tip is start talking to people within your network. So family, friends, and colleagues that you have to find the ideal nanny. The more you spread the news that you're looking for somebody, the better you're going to get more responses from people from sharing with you, hey, we have so-and-so available or so-and-so available. So the more tentacles you have out sharing with people that you're looking for a nanny, I think is great for you.
The fourth one is, so similar to what Zev said, just going with friends and family, but also Facebook pages. There's a lot of Facebook pages out there that you can join, and you can give a little blurb about what you're looking for in your nanny search. And once that's on there, you can start even interviewing the candidates that'll, comment. And of course, because you're starting early, you'll have time to do those interviews.
Okay, so the fifth one is the most important one, reference check. Now, typically I have a lot of families that call in and they ask, oh, so I did 2 reference checks, checks out, this is great. But what we typically recommend is do at least 3, sometimes 4 reference checks. So once you do the first 3 reference checks, figure out if there's anything that somebody says that you want to follow up on. So either calling the reference back or asking for another person's name that the candidate worked with, so you can call them to kind of do a 360 reference check where you're not just getting a perspective of one of the references, but you're actually getting a holistic feedback, right? I think what we've found is that has worked really well for us.
Yeah, and also, with references, talk to somebody that they have taken care of their children. So more on that professional relate to the job that your nanny will be doing, right?
Yeah.
So no friends or, family references. We always try to ask for more references at that point, because we want to talk to somebody that's outside of that friend and family network.
Yeah, you want to make sure that the reference is professional. This is not something they've just done on the side, one time, and now they're using that as experience to try and say, hey, I can do that. You want to make sure this is somebody that is professional, has the experience. And if you're using qualifying experience, you want to make sure you ask them the right follow-up questions to make sure they are the right fit for your family, because every family has unique needs. So make sure you match that.
Yes, that's a good one. And then our number 6 is background check. So there's a lot of different companies that you can go and do a criminal record check or background check screening. I'm going to put one in the comments here that we use, but we also tend to use others because of different families needing different checks. So you can go as elaborate as you want. You can have the drug screening done, the fingerprinting, social security check done, all of that also. Of course, it is a bit of a cost, and you can decide whether you want to take on that cost or whether the nanny will take on that cost. But, families, this is important. A background check is so critical. You want to make sure whoever is entering your home is a safe person that you can trust when you're leaving your children with.
An excellent point, and very important to make sure you do those background checks. Sometimes it costs a little bit more, but that extra cost is going to save you a lot of time and headache. So make sure, guys, you do that. And so that kind of transitions. Thanks, Sam. That's a great one. It's kind of transition nicely into the next one, which is the social media screening. So what we have typically done there in the past is what you can do is check their social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and try and see if there's anything that kind of is a bit of a flag for you as a family, for your values, and then kind of assess that and see, put that into context. Is this something that is concerning to me, their posts or their personal views? And sometimes, position that against the backdrop of this is in the childcare industry. So is there something concerning as it relates to taking care of children? Make sure you put that context on there and not just a general filter to say, oh, that's odd, they said this or that. But more so in the context of childcare, is there something that is said there or commented that you feel is concerning, and that can be a point that you can bring up during a reference check, or you can talk to the candidate to clarify, because sometimes there's a lot of misconception, things are taken out of context, and you want to clarify that as you work through that process.
Right. And I just remembered another thing while we were talking social media. So in your job description as well, you can mention, if your values are that you don't want this nanny to be talking religion in the home with your children, or, and displaying any of those values that she might be bringing in, please add that in the job description beforehand so nannies are well aware of what they need to be doing, what this job entails. So it's very important to have that thorough job description.
I just thought of something while you were talking. It's also the cultural sensitivity part.
Yes.
That we've had some people ask us, we need somebody that, will remove shoes at the entrance of the door. We need somebody to do this because this is our place of prayer or whatever. So make sure that if you have certain criteria like that, that you talk about that in your chat with the nanny or the babysitter, so that to make sure that they are in alignment with what your values and needs are, because that's very important. Because if you don't want to put it on a position, then they won't know what those expectations are. So It's better to clarify and set clear expectations from the get-go.
Right. Yes. We've kind of sidetracked here. Sorry. So number 8 is negotiate the contract. Of course, again, when you're starting early, you have enough time to create that contract, to send it to the nanny, and the nanny will, send it back if she has any comments or any changes that she would like to make in that contract, whether it be with wages, salary, or the job description, or hours, whatever it may be, right? But enough time to negotiate a really good contract. And again, for us, we're always looking for nannies that are looking for long-term relationships. So it might not be that this nanny will just join you guys for this summer. It might be that the nanny will come back next summer, and the summer after, and the summer after, right? As parents, we understand we're always looking for childcare. We need childcare when we have kids that are little, right? That aren't able to take care of themselves at that point. So just, keeping that in mind too, that you want to have a good, solid contract, that the nanny feels appreciated, as well as you guys have everything covered in your contract.
So I'm going to spill some secrets here, and Sam's not going to like this, but I will anyways. If you have a nanny, you're signing a contract, and talk about professional development. Some nannies is a professional field. We have the Canadian Nanny Academy that Sam leads. And so there's a lot of interaction there as well, where we want people that want to take nannying seriously, and some we have nannies in our business that are wanting to take this. They're doing this for a professional career, and they want to build something out of this. And so make sure you provide those opportunities, whether it's going to conferences, whether it's connecting for a webinar. Make sure you are open and saying, what, because the more they learn, the more they'll be able to implement those sessions with your family, and that adds value to the care that you are receiving. So always be open to that. Yeah. And I guess, Sam, this kind of transitions into my point, which is the ninth one, right?
Yeah.
I lost track. So the ninth one is do a couple of meets with the sitter and the nanny. Don't just do. I think for the nanny, you don't want to just have the first session where you connect with them, right? With the nanny, you want to make sure you have a couple of meets. So do a webinar, and then do an in-person meeting, and then follow up again, so that if there's anything that's not clarified, you get an opportunity to connect online and in person. I think it's a very good idea to do that, especially if the care is being provided at home. If there's any special instruction or special circumstances you want to talk about in person, I think having that conversation in person makes all the difference.
Yeah, and with your first meet, we have families that'll always ask us, should we be meeting with the kids at the first meet? It depends really, because sometimes it does get the nanny nervous when the children are there, because she's not sure if should she be interacting with the kids so that the parents are happy, or should she be answering your questions as you're meeting with her the first time, right? So you might have to figure that one out. I think a little bit more based on your family, or maybe have a 30-minute meet and then call the kids inside the room, and then have that engagement with the kids, right? And see how she does with the kids. But again, that first meeting, she might be nervous, or she or he might be nervous, right? Because they're meeting your family for the first time. So just keep that in mind too. And that's why I think that couple of meets is a great idea.
Yeah, and then in a social setting, it's much more easier to evaluate if somebody is the right fit, as opposed to online when you're just talking. It's hard to kind of, provide that atmosphere where you can show your warmth, because you're not there in person. It's hard to express that.
Right.
And so I think it's best done in person, but each family is unique. Each family has different needs. So I think assessing that and talking about it with your family, I think, will give you a better sense of how you should approach it.
Yeah, perfect. And then last one, keep in touch, of course, because we're in March right now. Schools don't finish up until the end of May, and in Canada it's until end of June. So just keep in touch with the nanny, of course, so that she knows, or she or he knows that, they're still going to be hired by this family. And then just keeping that connection going, maybe having them come over on a weekend or an evening, to babysit your children, so that they can even form a better bond before summer hits.
Yeah, no, awesome. That's this one right there.
Yeah,
Boom.
that's awesome.
So that's our first live session. And if you have any questions, comments, ideas, feedback, please make sure to jot them down in the comment box there. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for your time.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.